So you've probably used AI tools like ChatGPT or Claude. And so you're pretty familiar with this kind of pattern where you think of something you need to do, you prompt the LLM, you get some output, you copy and paste it into some other program or window, and then you do the actual work that you need to do with said output. So in this regard, your LLM is basically a coworker or an assistant, right? It's just someone to bounce ideas off of, or more accurately, a glorified search engine for some of us, right? We put out some ideas and we get some answers. We put out questions, we get answers. Not bad, but we could do better. We're still doing the work. What if we could get AI to do the work for us? And that's where Claude Cowork comes in handy. In this video, what I want to do is share with you what Claude Cowork is and how you can actually use it to revolutionize your productivity by getting AI to start doing the work for you. So, what actually is Claude Cowork? The way I like to describe Claude Cowork is it's like a secretary that actually does the work for you, right? With your current way of chatting with an LLM, you're basically treating AI like a search engine. You have a query, a question, you ask it and you get answers. It's still up to you to do the ultimate work. You still have to send the email, you still have to put the event in your calendar, etc. With Cowork, now you have an AI secretary. You can describe an outcome. It's not about prompting so much, it's more about describing what is the ideal outcome. Is the outcome events on your calendar? Is the outcome a professional summary email sent to your boss and some other coworkers who are on the project with you? Is it a weekly summary of all the Slack messages that you've received? Whatever it is, you now have the AI doing that for you rather than you copying the Slack messages, putting it in the chat, getting a summary, and then pasting that into an email and then sending that email out. AI has now done all of that for you. And the way this works is you give it access to the files on your machine, to your Google Calendar, to your email, to your Slack, to your Notion. And Cowork, based off of the outcome that you want, will actually look through all of those and get you to the point where it's actually getting the outcome for you. It's doing the work for you without you actually having to step in and manually do it. And now we're going to actually look at some use cases of how we can use Cowork to revolutionize our work and how we can actually get AI to start doing stuff for us. So before we begin, it's important to note that Claude Cowork only works if you have the desktop app. So you need to download Claude for your desktop on your computer. And secondly, you need to have at least a pro subscription to Claude. Pro subscription costs $20 a month. I'm currently on it. It's about the same as your Netflix subscription. So with that, let's get right into it. So, as you can see from my screen, this is what Claude Cowork looks like. When you have the desktop app, on the top you'll see Chat, Cowork, and Code. You'll go to the second tab, Cowork, which you can click on. So here's what it looks like. Now, before we actually begin doing tasks, I think it's important to talk about what model should we use. Cowork, as you can imagine, because it's doing work for you, is going to consume credits faster than your regular chat experience. So with Claude, where your subscription entitles you to a certain amount of credits, it's not infinite, but it's there's a limit to it. You don't want to hit the limit too hard, right? So we don't want to use the max model when we could use a lower model, something that doesn't consume credits as much. And so for all intents and purposes, I highly suggest you use Sonnet 4.6, right? This mid-tier model is most efficient for everyday tasks. And the reason why is because from a performance standpoint, Opus does not outperform Sonnet by that much. They do these benchmark tests for these large language models to see how they perform on different tests. And they found for something as complex as software engineering, the software engineering benchmark test, the Opus model only outperforms Sonnet by 1.2%. So it's a very, very small margin for this for software engineering, right? It's a complex field here. And Sonnet's, holding its weight against Opus. Now, there are some cases where you might want to use Opus. Opus is has some special capabilities that Sonnet doesn't have. For example, it has access to extended thinking and deep reasoning, which is really good for the science type of tasks or the deep research type of tasks. They found in the science benchmark there was quite a significant difference between Opus and Sonnet. So if you're doing graduate level or PhD level or postgrad level research or science, maybe Opus is actually the right way to go here because it'll actually help you do that research at a high level, and Sonnet might not perform up to task there. The other reason is Opus actually has a very large context window, and you might not know what that is, but a context window essentially shows how many tokens or how much content it can process at one given time. Opus can process 1 million tokens. It has a 1 million token context window, which means that if you have a lot of large files and you need to work with all of those large files simultaneously, Opus can probably handle it because it can hold 1 million tokens. Sonnet doesn't have that large context window, so it might struggle when you give it too many files. It might get overloaded and it might only look at a certain subset of that content, which means that some of the material that you need to be looking at will get ignored. The examples I'll show you today, all of it can be used with Sonnet, so we're going to keep with Sonnet. Again, there's no reason to use Opus for stuff like adding events to your calendar because Opus is 5 times more costly than Sonnet. It uses credits 5 times faster than Sonnet. And so if we use Opus for every small little task we're going to do, we're going to end up running out of credits. And it's not going to be fun. You're going to have a rough month ahead of you if you use up your credits in like the first week. So with that, let's actually get into some of the examples. So this first one is about me adding items to my calendar. So every week, I actually volunteer with a youth golf organization known as the First Team. And every week, or sorry, every 2 weeks, they give me the schedule for the next 2 weeks. So I get an Excel document where each sheet tells me, okay, this is who I'm going to be working with, where I'm going to be working with, for how long I'm going to be working with, and what the timing is, right? And manually, if I were to look at it, I'd have to look at each sheet, and actually manually put that into my calendar, which is a lot of work. I don't want to do that. So we're going to actually have Cowork do it here. So what I'll do here is I'll add a file, spring week 1. So this is the spring season of the golf season, or the spring golf season, the schedule for the first 2 weeks, week 1 and week 2. And so now I'm going to put in my prompt here. I'm going to take all the sessions in the spreadsheet and add them to my Google Calendar. For each one, I need a 30-minute buffer beforehand, so I have time to set up before the session starts. So if the session is from 5 to 6:30, it should reflect on my calendar as 4:30 to 6:30 to show that 30-minute buffer as well. So I'll do this, I'll click enter, let's go, and it will do the work for me, what it looks like. So here it shows me 15 events have been added to my Google Calendar with a full summary of everything that I'm doing. Okay, the next example is for scheduled tasks. So these are tasks that you do pretty regularly. So let's say, for example, every week, what you want is a summary of all the emails you've had in the past week, right here in your inbox. Or sorry, you want all of these. So with that, let's move on to the next example, which is scheduled tasks. Now, you can actually schedule tasks with Cowork by, if there's something that you do every single week, maybe it's, I want a summary of all the emails I got in the past week, or all the Slack messages I got in the past week. Or every Friday I have to give an update to my boss. I want to get a email, or I want to get in chat a summary of, or an executive summary that I can present to my boss. What Cowork can do is actually help you create these scheduled tasks. So what you can do is you can go to a new task and do /schedule, or you can go over to this schedule tab on the left. And so what you'll do is create a scheduled task to summarize my emails from the past week every Monday at 5 p.m. And so here, now that I've done this, it says summarize all Gmail emails from the past 7 days every Monday at 5 p.m. with the details. And so it gives you the actual prompt that it's going to use on itself every Monday at 5 p.m. to give me this summary. So here it is, search the Gmail inbox, past 7 days, and use the following steps. Group and summarize, etc., etc. If I'm good with this, I'll click schedule. It'll be good. And now it says your weekly email summary task is all set. And so the task is set. It runs every Monday at 5 p.m. And the next run will be next Monday. And I'll pull Gmail from the past 7 days, organize the summary into 4 buckets: action required, FYI informational, meetings and calendars, and other, with counts at the end so you can get a clean snapshot of the week. You can also click Run Now from the Schedule section in the sidebar. This lets you pre-approve the Gmail permissions the task needs, so future automated runs don't pause mid-task waiting for you to sign off. So let's do that right now. We'll go to the Schedule tab. Here we have the weekly email summary, and I'll click Run Now. You can click on here. You can see that it's running here in this Scheduled tab right here. And so, since I already gave permissions to Gmail, you can see that it already has everything. So it has action required, some informational, meetings and calendar, and then a summary count of the emails. So I got around 13 emails last week, and it tells you the top priority. So this is schedule tasks. Now, for the last example, I want to show you something called Dispatch. This actually came out very recently, just this year back in March. And so I am probably one of the first YouTubers to actually share this with you. So hopefully you'll enjoy this. But what Dispatch is it allows you to work on your computer from anywhere. So I can actually send tasks from my phone to my computer and actually do work on my computer without me actually being at my computer. Now, of course, there is some setup you need to do. You do need to actually set up Dispatch on your computer and then on your iOS or Android app, right? Your phone. You need to set it up. They'll connect to each other. And essentially, as long as your computer, Claude is open on your computer and it's awake, it can actually do the work for you, right? So the example I use, I'll do one I did. This message I actually typed from my phone. So I pretended I was away from my computer and I said, hey, I left my computer at home and I need to discuss the architecture of my coding project I'm working on with a colleague. So could you go through my downloads folder and find architecture.md, which is the markdown file that has the architecture information for the project, and then give me a high-level summary of it. And so I sent this, and what Cowork did is it created this own task with the prompt, the user needs you to find a file called architecture.md in their tilde-downloads folder and provide a high-level summary of its contents. Please request access to downloads, find the file, rate it, and summarize the key architectural concepts, components, and decisions described in it. So this is kind of really meta, right? Like you are asking on your phone to do something, then the AI will prompt itself to do some work, which is what it's doing here, and then it'll actually do the work. So by the time you actually get to work and you have this computer, this is now saved in your chat. If this were, I could actually ask it to make this into a PDF or a document, and I can have that access on my phone as well as on the computer. So it's super, super powerful, right? I mean, like, just for example, this is just something I was thinking about. Let's say you're driving to work and you realize, oh crap, I didn't actually make this summary task that I was supposed to do for my boss. Like he wants me to update him first thing in the morning. So by the time I get to work, I'd only have 5 minutes to actually look through everything. before I can actually present him with a summary of my week's activities or what support I need for the week. So instead of getting to work and then scrambling to try and understand these files or like put them into an LLM and actually have it summarize for me, I can actually get that work started on my drive. I can open up my phone and say, hey, I need you to have this summary ready for me by the time I get to work. Can you summarize this? It's in this folder, etc. And then by the time you get to work, the report is already ready for you. You just have to look through it, make sure everything's good, and then you can just go to your boss and share it. So I definitely think that this is a super powerful tool and will change your life in more ways than one. So, to summarize, Claude Cowork is enabling us to shift from AI as an assistant to AI as a secretary. AI is actually going to be doing the work for you, creating the calendar events, sending the emails, writing the reports. It's going to do all of it for you on your behalf. So open up Cowork once you have your paid subscription in the desktop app. Just open up Cowork, make sure you set the model to Sonnet, and try doing some of the works through AI. Make that a challenge for yourself. Like, okay, I have this task that I do, and it's pretty regular. Can I do everything with AI? Can I get AI to do everything? And the more you experiment with this, the more use cases you'll find for Claude Cowork. You'll find that a lot of your existing workload, you can actually just outsource it and have AI do it for you, which is really, really nice. If you found this video useful, subscribe. I plan to post more content like this in the future, so if you enjoyed this, I'll see you in the next video. If you found this video useful or you enjoyed it, I'd appreciate a subscribe. I plan to make more content like this in the future, so keep your eyes open for more useful AI tips in the future. Alright, that's it for me. Thanks.